Hiclofe!
Hello everyone, the video you are now watching is an analysis of our Dark Tower speed build. If you haven't watched it yet, then what do you think you are doing? Go watch the speed build first, you unseasoned p***. Where was I? Oh yes, the Dark Tower. First, I'd like to clarify something concerning the speed build. You may see many places where the structures appear out of nowhere, as if we seemingly forgot to record the parts of the build. We didn't forget to record anything, we just faced some problems with chunk loading. As you can see here, this is pretty ugly and I would not want this to show on my building resume. So, the first thing I would like to talk about is the tower itself. Originally, we planned on making this structure in survival mode. However, we then decided that it would be much easier to make it in creative, and we also thought we could make a speed build out of it, and here we are. The exterior of this tower was actually created on a super flat world by Oak and Frost in a single player world, and us building the first part of the tower was just replicating Oaken's build. Moving on to the next thing we made, the cliff face. We made a plan to create a big terrain of corrupted plateaus on which the Dark Tower would sit. This proved to be a little bit too ambitious for us, so we just made a ravine surrounding the singular plateau in the middle of the ocean. Building the ravine itself would have been very simple had we had world edit. However, since we hosted this on a realm, we didn't have access to any sort of mods, including world edit. So it's a privilege, and you better know that. And next time you see a YouTuber just mention world edit like it's nothing, know that they are a spoiled little brat. So, instead, we use the magic known as command blocks. Using commands, we made build presets for the walls and floors, which is why we fly around very quickly and build the floor a lot faster than if we were just placing the blocks singularly. You can also see us frequently place command blocks during the time lapse. That's us executing our hacker code in order to build easier. Moving on, I'll talk about terrain. Now, you didn't see much of it in the speed build, but believe me when I say this is what we spent the most time doing. The most aggravating part was the balance between Nillium and Netherrack. Netherrack by itself looks ugly, Nillium by itself looks ugly, so you have to find a balance in between. And how do you create that balance? Well, since there's no command blocks to fill an area with a random amount of certain blocks in vanilla Minecraft, we resorted to good old bone meal. And let me tell you, we used a lot of bone meal. Lord Pantero had used 15,000 bone meal, Oak and Frost has used 22,000 bone meal, and Art Tsunami had used 35,000 bone meal. I swear to God, if I see or hear another thing about bone meal one more time, my innards will burst with the power of... Let's go back into the Dark Tower for this next part. On the first floor, our original plan was to have 3 effigies of powerful guardians. After making the Blackstone Brick Guardian, we were pretty happy. However, as we made the Red Guardian and the Skull, we saw how this was a horrible idea and why we should retire from building. However, much like terminal cancer, we didn't go away. We eventually settled for a room with an intimidation pattern. Lava on the floor, pattern on the ceiling. I think that's good enough, wouldn't you agree? Something we really should have had when we started building the tower was a plan. We agreed with having an armory, and eventually a library, but let's talk about the armory first. We weren't quite sure how we'd do it, so we went with the simple answer, which is just spam armor stands, put netherite armor on them. Call it a day, right? Yeah, of course not. We settled with a room with arches, lanterns, and a lot of lava. We still had the armor stands, but there's less of them, and there's also tool racks. This is personally my favorite room of the Dark Tower. And now, let's talk about the library. Now, since I wasn't a part of the initial creation of the library, and since I was making the stairs the entire time, I'm not exactly sure what was the intention behind it. However, from what I gather, it was a dark library that was seemingly abandoned, set to resemble a maze with horrors that lie inside, with the only sign of life being the soul lanterns that slowly breathe in and out and in and out. Wow, this really resembles my attitude to life. Oh yeah, we also spent a few hours making an interesting cave system over here. There's really not much to say. I guess it's cool though. Thank you so much for watching this video all the way to the end. As I stated in the speed build video, this was the longest video we had worked on by far. If you hated this video, you know what to do, but if you liked it, please like, subscribe, and comment. Happy holidays, and have a safe winter in this dangerous time.